Hey everybody, this is part 3 of the BFE job. So we're still, if you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, you need to see those. Part 2, we haven't put we're doing part 3, the timing belt side, but we haven't even finish off part 2 video. It's kind of still in progress as well, right? It's a bit crazy, isn't it? I know. We've got to put the 3 pulleys back on, all the bearings are pressed, water pumps back on. So now we're taking the timing cover off. I've just loosened all these, so I'm just going to go through and slowly remove the 6 nuts and bolts and pull the cover out of the way. Timing belt, this is really an urgent precaution, right? If you don't line this up and stuff this up, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble, okay? So watch what happens now. Actually, I'm going to do something different, crazy as it is. I'm going to give it the wash down with all this old gear in position, because that's good enough for a wash down. With this one, the cam seal's not leaking, so we're not changing the cam seal, so this gear's not coming off. Otherwise, you'd crack this loose before you took the timing belt off. Yes, the timing belt is looking a bit floppy at that side. That's just the way it's turned out, and you know, when you turn the engine in the correct direction, let's just do it just to demonstrate. Right. It's just because that was spun the other way. You know, just because we're mucking around turning the fan and, you know, see it's tight now. So don't worry about that too much. But see, actually, I'll line it up since the mark's nearly there anyway, because that's what I was going to do, just to show you. Well, I've shown in other videos, but see the mark at the top of the pulley there? See how it lines up? It's blue, because I did it last time. You probably find a blue mark. Get some light on the subject. You find a blue mark lining up down here too, I reckon. So the blue mark and the 2 marks there, right? You know, it's hard to get the camera right in front of it, but you know what I mean. It's Mickey Mouse, right? It's all good. And you'll see another mark somewhere if you look carefully. See that one down there? You can have a look at that one too if you want. Right, close enough is good enough, right? Sounds dodgy, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm going to give this the big wash down here, and then I'm going to move it to another working bay where we will dismantle the timing belt and everything and continue the video. Okay, so as you can see, it's all washed down. It's all nice and clean and dry. Isn't that just beautiful? That's how we like to work on things. See? Clean, beautiful. Okay, let's check these marks, all right? Just to be clear, you've got... I'm trying to get the camera down there, yeah? Oh, you can see what's going on there. It's that lined up that perfect. It looks like one thing. So you got that mark, you've got that mark, and you've got one more. See if I can get it down there and set it kind of in front. You could probably see, I can't even see what I'm showing you. Oh yeah, look how good that cameraman is. Come on, hit the like button for the camera work. Anyway, there's your timing belt. Should be tight on this side. Now basically what we're gonna do is, like I said, we're not gonna, this cam seal is not leaking, so there's no need to change that. There's no need to take this pulley off because you're not taking the backing plate off. There's a little bit less work involved in this one. We washed it all down. That's why you can see that bit of surface rust. Rust blew it dry, water blew it dry, all that sort of thing. It's all Mickey Mouse clean. So what we're going to do now is remove the 2 10 mils that hold the tensioner. This is the tensioner. One here. There'll be another bolt you can't see under there, and that's a 10 mil hex there. So we're going to remove that, remove the belt. Doesn't matter how you remove it. What matters is the easy procedure for putting it back together. I will try and put the camera on a tripod and show you how I do it. It's a bit hard to get cameras in here and stuff like that. It's really ideally if I had a cameraman, but you know, obviously, to be honest, YouTube channels are not that exciting. If you had to pay a cameraman, you'd be losing money because, you know, it's just, so if you think you get rich from YouTube channels, well, look, at the end of the day, it all depends what you do. What we're doing here is information to help smart people get educated, save money, learn things, have reliable vehicles. That's not the popular stuff. The popular stuff is the entertainment. So you need to do entertainment. Totally different thing if you're doing it for the money. And that doesn't mean an adventure channel either. That's even more boring apparently. Unless you're like 24/7, of course. You know, millions of subscribers, yes! Let's go for it. Anyway, so as I said, I can be here working on cars. I'll make more money in a day, one day, than a whole month of YouTube of both channels together, okay? That's the truth, okay? So there you go. If you think I'm rich and famous because of a YouTube channel, you're dreaming, okay? That's the fact right there. All right, so water pump's done, bearings, let's get this belt off. Right, now that we've got the belt off, let's just have a look at everything and do a bit of an analysis. You can get a rag and just give that a bit more of a wipe clean if you want, because that's the dust that was under the belt. That's what I do. Make sure like all your holes are clean. We haven't washed those, but I blow out all the holes like where, you know, we washed it and these weren't on there, you know what I mean? So blow the holes out. You can put a bit of grease on your bolts if you like, but you don't need to. You don't need to put grease or Loctite, but depending on the situation, every area, corrosion, that sort of thing. So you got to just make that up as you go, depending where you are and what the situation is. This one doesn't go off-road, so it does stay pretty clean. Let's go and analyze these parts. Now, I just want to say, these bearings over the left here, none of them were noisy or anything to show you, so I didn't bother, okay? The bottom one was probably the worst, but it wasn't bad. But have a listen to this. So here's the belt. This is the belt. I've never seen a bad one on these 1KDs. The light comes on every 150 or whatever it's set at. So it's an automatic thing. So if you haven't got money at 150 and it pushes out to 160, I didn't tell you it's okay. But what I'm telling you is I put this belt on 150k ago roughly, and I've never seen a bad one, and I've seen them at 180. So I can just tell you what I've seen. I wouldn't be worried about it. Don't have a panic attack. I'm not saying leave it for a long time, leave it till 180. I'm saying don't think that on the dot when that light comes on, okay? So good info for you. So subscribe, turn the bell on if you want good info. A couple issues here. This bearing is noisy, and this is why I invented the BFE kit. Never seen one of these tensioners fail. This one's clean because we gave it all a wash down yesterday. It's just hydraulics. You could reuse it, but you're spending that much money. What's another $100, 120, whatever they are, something like that. So look, optional. If you need to save 120, you can reuse that if you want. Never seen one fail. Now, this, I've never seen one fail either, but let's go put in the vise and spin it so you can have a listen to it. Hear that? Just dry. It's getting dry. Probably make it to 450k, but if it doesn't, that's your engine. They're the ones you don't hear about, you know. Ends up, something's broken, goes on a tow truck, goes off to the dealer or the mechanic, whatever, it all gets fixed. You just don't hear anything, okay? Things like that. There's more problems than you hear of, right? When something really weird happens, doesn't always go on the internet. Let's have one more listen. I'll go get a new one and put it there just so you can compare. Okay, so we'll take this one out. Which that, we'll just chuck a rag in the vise because I don't want to put any, I'm not doing it up really tight, but I don't want to put any marks on the new one. All right, I want to get it up a little bit so it can spin. Let's see if you can hear any noise from this one. There's no smoke and mirrors. Doesn't work so well. A bit of background noise, but look. Anyway, you get it? Bearings, right? They're filled with grease when they're manufactured, and it wears out, it dries out, it comes out, whatever the case may be. Bearings don't last forever. That's why we invented the BFE kit. That one, rubbish. See you later. Chucked it in the bin, but it'll go in the scrap metal later, just for the video sound effects. Anyway, moving on. Important information about the way I prefer to do things is, again, different ways to do things. Some people even replace this bolt because they look at that and they go, oh my gosh, it's stainless. Right, let me put on the magnet, make sure. Oh, it's not stainless. So it's not stainless. I just said something that was wrong. It looks like stainless. Anyway, it's got a coating on it that makes it look like stainless. And that surface there, even though it looks, it's fine. You can wet and dry it a little bit if you like. I've never replaced one, never had a problem. Can't see it being a problem. You can replace it if you like. It's not in our kit, but the important part is, do not forget the back washer that goes behind it. When you take that off, there should have been a washer with it. So when you lift it off, that's why you keep watching the videos, because if you went and did it, watch the whole video first, and then you can watch them again when you do the job. What are we going to do now? Put a new tensioner in place, put this in place, and then I'll show you how to put the belt on. All right, here we go. So tension is on, 13 Newton meters. Idler's on, 35 Newton meters. Check it up, mate. I can't remember. Check the older videos when I remember, okay? I do all that at the end, so it hasn't been done yet. New belt, genuine Toyota. It's got some marks on it. Remember where your marks were. Now I'm going to show you what I believe, because of course I'm not always right, is the easy way. So where it says Toyota and you got your mark, you got two. If you stretch it out, you got two marks on the close together side if you like. Sit the top on, because that's the easy one to see. This is what I do, right? Then what I do is I'll stretch out the right side that was tied at the top. Remember that one? And I'll put my finger over it at the side here, but you won't actually get it on because you've got this big flat plate on the front of the supply pump timing gear down here. So take it back off the top, keep your finger in the right spot. Doesn't matter, you're going to check it, so it doesn't matter if you let it slip and you go wrong. Bring the belt around so you got it all the way around that one. Then remember, pull it tight again at the right side. You actually need the belt off here, actually, to be honest. So if it sits in position around the idler, that won't actually work. It needs to be off a little bit more so it's around there like that. Otherwise you won't get it on. And then basically push this side so it's tight. You can see this side's tight, or you may or may not be able to, and then that'll just really easily come around. See, it's just come around, it just wants to sit there. And then lift this up and put it over there. How easy is that? Watch the videos, I'll show you the easy way. Look, tight at this side, the marks will be spot on, that's right. Make sure it's pushed back so it's about halfway on the gear, it'll sort itself out anyway. And when you're happy with that, and happy with that, and happy with that, then you can just go like that and pull the pin. And basically, now you're safe again. You could start the engine, right? Yeah, with the cover off and all that, you could, but this is where it's imperative that you keep watching the videos and you listen carefully. If you've had this off, now's the time where you tighten things, because everything's back together. You can't accidentally turn the engine and smash a piston against a valve, you know, whether it's cranking, whether it's torquing, whether it's whatever, right? 98 Newton meters here. You hold it. This one's 300 and something, 365 or around 360, F-tight, either way, right? Crankshaft F-tight, but you can hold that 22 mil with a big bar, while you torque this one with a smaller bar with a 19 mil socket to 98 Newton meters if you've had it off. 35 if I remember correctly, 13, I'll go double check. I'll have to think about it. I can't do videos, work on cars and think about numbers all at the same time. We haven't had any of these off this time, so don't worry about that. But what you want to do now is get in there and double check all your marks, okay? So, yep, that's right, that's right, that's right. I'm going to have a quick look. We're not going to bother. Hang on. We're not going to bother actually getting the camera down in there to show you, because I've shown you enough times. I can tell you that's spot on. That's spot on, it hasn't moved. That's spot on. If you can't see, you can get yourself a mirror if that's what you want to do. Doesn't bother me. And then to confirm, you get your 22 mil, put on the crankshaft, and it won't turn far if you've got problems, right? So see how it's turning, right? And on the older ones where they weren't hydraulic, what you used to have to do is you'd set the tensioner, right? Mechanically, you'd set it, you'd lock it in, a bit like a drive belt adjustment. Going back on some older cars now, yeah, I've been around a few decades, but anyway, you do that, and then what you do, you turn it over a full turn, 1 or 2, whatever, by this all the way around, and then you'd loosen it, let it re-tension. So it had a spring-loaded self-tensioner, but you locked it in position so it couldn't change, which I suppose is really reliable on the good cars, that the belts were good, but there were some cars where the belts were crap. And look, there's a lot of cars with problem timing belts. This is not one of them. This is beautiful, especially if you do the BFE, right? There's the belt. Of course, it's going to be just what it is. We turn it clockwise. That's self-tensioning. They're all tight, so we've got to torque those up. So what I'm going to do now, double check all the torque specs on everything, and then put the cover on, right? Wash the cover, dry the cover, 6 bolts. You don't need to watch me do that. What you do need to know is don't over tighten them, because that'll pull this stud out of the plastic cover. It doesn't matter how tight you make it. It's not going to make it any more watertight. It's plastic. It can deform over time. They don't keep all the dust and all the water out. It's not waterproof in there. So keep that in mind with all your water crossings and your bog holes. I always say mud equals money. Haven't said it much lately, but this is what I'm talking about. There's so many components it gets into, it's just not worth it. Those bog holes go around them. And I'm really proud to see when people come on day trips with us, and I even try and tempt them, generally nobody will touch a bog hole, which is absolutely awesome. Technical trucks where you got to think about tyre wheel placement is what you want, right? What can I do here to make it work? It's a bit of a challenge without wrecking the vehicle, of course. But look, 6 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to get our nice clean cover. Now could be a good time to fill out that sticker as well and stick that on, or you can do it later. Anyway, you don't need to see me do that, so I'm going to go and make sure the cover's clean, torque everything, put the cover on, and these little bolts, I think the torque spec's either 5 or 8 Newton meters. I just go with a quarter drive just nicely by hand. I'm not going to pull these out. The other thing is, if you over tighten them, it can pull the plastic. Look, see that how it moves a bit? And it's going to distort. It's going to pull it in here and here, and it'll be sort of curved back there, and you'll have your gap in the middle. We do put a bit of moly coat on that seal. It's in other videos. There's a lot of other information in our other timing belt videos. That's why you should probably watch them all. Get in that BFE playlist. Check out our playlists, right? BFE job, BFE water pump timing belt, whatever it's called, because there's going to be other information in there that I've missed in this one. Disclaimer, if you just watch this video and do it and say Anthony said so, you dream, and Anthony's saying don't do it till you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you know what you're doing. You can only make that decision because I don't know you. Alrighty, so that's the timing belt side of things. Like I said, I did the sticker, right? Sticker's done, cover's on, double, triple checked everything before and after the cover went on. So just to make the video not too long, again, subscribe, turn the bell on if you want, you know, hit the like button, bada bing, bada boom. We'll catch you on the next video and we'll get the rest of it all back together. Probably one more video to go. And of course, reset the timing belt light. We've got a few videos on that, and it's different between the GXL and the Altitude. There's a few different ones, the 120s, 150s, Hiluxes, whatever. So we've got those videos there. You should be able to search those, or you can just subscribe, turn the bell on so it pops up. You'd watch it on the day, and if you like it, you can press save. You can save the videos. Then you go into your save videos. You know, you can make your own playlists as well. If you've got a Google account, you can make your own playlists and put all the important ones in to that playlist so you don't lose them. Then you just go in there, press play, bing, 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 bing. There you go. You want to hear it again? You want to hear it again? Do you want to hear it again? Do you want to hear it again? When you're driving to work, when you're driving home, you go to the playlist, you press play. I've seen that, heard enough of that one. Press next video, next video, next video. Yep. Want to hear it again? Want to hear it again? Want to subscribe. Turn the bell on. Like. Catch you on the next video. It's for you, not me. See ya.